All right guys, today I have an amazing green juice recipe for really anybody. It's kind of geared more towards the beginner slash intermediate, and the reason this is because a lot of people, when you're starting out on your detoxification journey, you can have a hard time digesting fruit and the sugars from that. And that's because a lot of people have overgrowths of bacteria because their body is so filled up with sludge from a lifetime of eating processed and cooked and denatured fast food. It's a fast food nation, you know, so like the best thing to do is to get this waste out so your body functions and performs accordingly. And when a lot of people start, they do have a difficult time with the fruit sugar. They don't digest it super well. It gives them headaches and it causes them to break out and they get bloated. And it's because there's typically too much bacteria. It's overgrown. There's too much bacteria, fungus, parasites, yeast. And what this specific juice recipe is good for, look at this. So when you take something like a dark leafy green and the chlorophyll and the deep mineral content that's in these things, and you put it in your body, the bacteria and the parasites do not like this. And so it kills them. They start to die off, they start to leave. And while I recommend a lot of times to not focus on killing, you know, there is something to say that if in the beginning of your journey you do take a bunch of green juice in, because I did myself, it was crucial in the first, like I'd say 6 months of my healing journey, like years ago, when I was severely bloated with chronic Crohn's disease and SIBO and candida, and I couldn't digest nothing, like not even water, no juice, no apples, definitely no citrus. And so I was crushing like cucumber, a bit of Granny Smith apple, and then thick, dark, leafy greens. And it helped so much. Throughout the course of the weeks and the month, the bacteria count just started going down. My bloating got better. And so, you know, for anybody who's got like chronic fatigue or brain fog or acne, or you're overweight or you get bloated, or you have, you know, a lot of heavy metals in your body because, for one, you're a human being who lives in this crazy world, who just gets sprayed and sprayed and sprayed with, I'm not even going to say the word, but these airplanes are not putting lovely contrails on you. They're putting other things, and it's got a lot of aluminum in it. And when you breathe this stuff in, and then on top of that you take these things that are just filled with heavy metals and poison, this stuff builds up and it causes you to get chronic illness and autoimmune diseases. And so you got to detox yourself. There's no way around it. You have to go through a detoxification, because in order to get your body clean, in order to heal your chronic health issues, you got to go through the process of what you did to put it in, and now you have to get it out. So the reason everyone's sick, and the reason everyone's getting fat, sick, and overweight, and all of these hosts of autoimmune diseases, is because their body's filled with chemicals predominantly. But then on top of that, we're eating food that's just so hard to digest that our body cannot keep up with it. So that's really where juicing is just such a powerful freaking tool, is that it gives your body, I mean, the liquid that is inside of a cucumber, it's pure distilled, amazing filtered water from the earth, because all these contaminants fall from the sky. They're filled with chemicals, but as the photosynthesis process soaks up that chemicalized water, it filters out the chemicals into these beautiful fruits. And then what are we left with? We're left with this beautiful liquid product that we call a juice, and it's super duper easy to digest and absorb it. And that's the beautiful miracle of juicing, is that it gives your body so much energy to digest the nutrition and allow your body to heal itself, because, I mean, that's what this is about. So let's get into this. I'm going to tell you the ingredients, and typically I start by chopping up the leafy greens. You don't have to chop them, to be honest. This juicer, the Nama, it's amazing. It has a chopping blade in there that spins around. But for time's sake, it's just much easier. If you have like something with a strand, like Swiss chard, celery, kale, even ginger, you're gonna wanna chop these in, like, I'd say like 1 inch to a 1/2 inch piece, because it can get stuck in this feed chute. Every juicer does this. It's not just specific to this. All vertical juicers, you're gonna have to kind of chop up the strands in any of your leafy greens. And so we're gonna start chopping up these. This is one bunch of kale. And kale is, you know, super easy to grow. If you live anywhere that has decently warm weather in the summer and even in the winter, kale is, I mean, you can grow it for like 3 years before it starts to bolt and produce seed. So back when I lived in California, I would do, I mean, I had like 5 huge kale stalks and they turn into like big plants. You know, I got one as tall as this and you just keep pulling leaves off. And so every day I would go out there and I would just pop off like 4 or 5 leaves and put it in a juice. So also got 1 handful of basil. Obviously you've heard of basil before. It is just a delicious dark leafy green herb that adds a lot of aroma and flavor to this juice. We got mint. Mint also grows like weeds. You can go heavy on the mint. I prefer a lot of mint. But as you progress in your healing journey and you get more accustomed and acclimated to drinking these dark juices, you can probably start to tolerate a lot of really thick juices, which is great. I would consider myself an expert because I've had, I mean, 20,000 dark green juice, maybe not 20,000, but I've had a lot of dark leafy green, maybe 20,000, I don't know. And in the beginning it was bitter, I didn't love it unless I put a lot of apples in there, but now I absolutely love the dark leafy greens. We got 1 bunch of cilantro. Cilantro is an amazing heavy metal detoxifier. If you look up the medical medium, heavy metal detoxification smoothie, it's one of the main ingredients. I don't necessarily love that smoothie recipe, but cilantro is really easy. You can find it literally anywhere. I got 1 little small bunch of dill. Any herb that you can find is going to be pretty good. I live in Bali, so these are kind of the freshest ones. But the combination of all of these together is they really tie each other. They really tie each other in really nicely. And if you don't have all of these ingredients, it's okay. Just do your best with what you have. If you can only find parsley and cilantro and Swiss chard or some Dino kale, that's cool too. But you're gonna want to toss in as the darker the better. Spinach is great. To be honest, my favorite detoxifying herb is the dandelion, because they're just so dark. But you got to keep in mind that they are quite bitter. So you can do either limes or lemons. I got these limes here. They're organic here from Bali. You can de-skin them, which will make it taste a little bit smoother, but I'm kind of gangster. I don't really mind. So I'm going to put in 3 limes and then we're just going to pop this baby on. I'm using the Nama. So if you haven't seen my Instagram channel, I use this a lot because it's just, it's so incredibly easy to use. If you're gonna be juicing every day and if you're gonna try to heal yourself, you wanna get a juicer that is gonna make your life super easy and that you're gonna enjoy using. And a lot of people just start out and they get a $100 juicer. I did. My first juicer was a Jack LaLanne that I got from Walmart for like 49 bucks. This was many years ago, probably 12 years ago, and it worked. It's great for cucumbers, carrots, and apples, and beets. But other than that, it's not going to juice leafy greens. Those high-speed blenders suck. They are great at juicing the basics: cucumber, carrot, celery, and beets. But once you got to get a good tool. This is really the only thing that I like. That is like my #1 tool that I have. I love it because if you're into the daily juicing habit, then it's like you want your juicer to be amazing. You don't have any issues with it and you want it to not take a super long time compared to a lot of those those horizontal juicers where you got to feed everything through. I have had so many juicers, but to be honest, this is one that I like the most. There is a discount code in the description, 55 bucks off if you want to check this juicer out. But anyway, so got the herbs. Next we're going to do apples. These are going to be 6 apples. My favorite is going to be the Granny Smith because it's just a lot of people have a really easy time digesting the Granny Smith apple for some reason. I think it has something to do with the pectin in it. So you're going to do 6 apples. Again, if you're a beginner, I recommend the Granny Smith. They're also a little tart. So you can just either toss the apple in there whole like this, or you can chop it up. It's gonna be quicker if you pre-chop it. You don't even have to pre-chop it tiny. You can toss it in there, but making a video here for time's sake. But also a tip, A lot of people don't know that you can juice the core of the apple. A lot of people think there's cyanide in the seeds, and there is, but it's the tiniest micro amounts, and when you see the pulp come out here, it's with the seed. So it's not like the seed is getting grind up and there's all this juice coming out of the seed. It's not like you're poisoning yourself with cyanide. So it's totally fine to toss the whole apple in there. I've been doing this for, 12 years now. Heavily, like daily 6 years, but it's not an issue at all. So give the apples a rough chop. The key to any delicious juice recipe is to find a balance of dark greens, hydrating fruits and vegetables, but keeping the sugar enough to make you enjoy drinking it. A lot of people will start out on their health journey and they just make the thickest, most gnarly green juices, and it just doesn't taste very good. You gotta kind of like limit your produce, and you gotta put some fruit sugar in there. And apples are very much easier to digest than something, for a lot of people, compared to like citrus or oranges or even watermelon or grapes, just because there's so much sugar, and that sugar is getting fermented, So the cool part about this juicer too is you can like chop up that whole recipe. Okay, so we also have one green pear. You can chop up the recipe, you can put it in the top there and just walk away. You can clean your kitchen and go do the dishes or whatever. So that's another big benefit, but I like to just toss them in there. And then the last thing is cucumber. And so the reason I did the leafy greens first is so all this other stuff can push that green stuff, that fiber through. So, because that's kind of the most valuable part for me in this specific juice recipe is the green gold from the herbs. And so if you have access to celery, I would put in a couple stalks of celery. I didn't find any organic celery today, so I live in a third world country, so it's kind of difficult to find certain things. Other things like cucumbers and bananas and mangoes and watermelon, papaya, jackfruit, durian, cucumbers and tomatoes, they grow like weeds. They're totally amazing, but sometimes it can be hard to find really good or organic produce here that I used to have back in the States when I lived in like San Diego. So you got to make do with what you got. But you guys, health is not that complicated. You can heal yourself with some basic things. A few amazing juice recipes will take you such a long distance. And then combined with a super simple fruit-based diet, mono fruit with just a few things, you're gonna watch miracles happen to yourself. You guys, I used to be bedridden, chronically sick for several years, and I was working as a commercial photographer, and I would fly out for like 4 days. I would do a photo shoot, and then I would come back home for like 5 days and just edit photos and reset. And the whole time I would be home, I would just lay in bed, barely able to work. And the whole time that I was working, I was like throwing up and hiding it. I'd be in the middle of this high-end photo shoot, and I'd have to run to the bathroom for 10 minutes, lay on the ground, throw up a bunch, and then act like I'm okay and come back out. I did that for so many years. I was kind of hiding, and I didn't really know what to do. I ate a carnivore diet. I ate keto diet, paleo. I ate all these animal-based diets trying to heal myself naturally before I found out about, the raw living food and what our digestive tract is actually supposed to have in it. And the miracles that the body goes through when you start giving it the right type of fuel. Once I heard this information, you can watch several videos on that, it just clicked. It clicked so hard. It just made perfect sense that the body is self-healing, and when you stop poisoning it, it's going to come back to life, So it's just a no-brainer. The daily juicing habit combined with raw fruits and vegetables, it's amazing. So anyway, I pour this thing up. I typically like the Vitamix pitcher. You don't have to strain your juice, but pretty much any juicer, any vertical juicer, you're gonna need to strain a bit of pulp out. A lot of it is because the apples are quite mushy, and pretty much any juicer is gonna need to strain the apples. So we'll just give this a little thing here. This juicer does come with one of these, but it's a bit smaller. I don't honestly love it. I can make way more juice with this thing in a very short amount of time, so we'll crank that down there. Yeah, man, just like the daily juicing habit, dude. My mom is 73 years old. She came to visit me when I lived in Mexico a couple years ago, or what is that? Yeah, about a year and a half ago. She got on the daily juicing habit. She started eating fruit. She ate raw vegan the entire week that she visited me. I hadn't seen her in a long time. And she changed her life. She lost like 30 pounds in the matter of like 4 months, just doing some juicing, smoothies, and eating raw. And then she was like, I want to go deeper. And she did a 28-day water fast. And she has been eating raw vegan for over a year now, which is just incredible. She's lost almost about almost 80 pounds. Healed all of her health issues. She had some pretty rough health issues. And now she's thriving. She's 73. She lives in the middle of Arkansas, it's incredible what happens when your body just stops being poisoned with the food, the Western diet, the heavy meats, the heavy breads, the heavy pastas, and the cheese, the dairy, the candy, the soda. All this stuff is so bad. So let's pour this baby up. This is my breakfast. I surfed this morning, and now I'm like starving, to be honest. This is like 11 o'clock for me. So this is just, it's just such a beautiful, smooth juice. Like, look at that. You're probably catching my eyes, but that is just epic. Look at that. Yo, goodness. I've made this specific recipe so many damn times. I know exactly what it's going to taste like every time I make it. One thing that I would add to this is ginger. You're going to put like a thumb of ginger in there if you can find it. I didn't find any today when I went to the farmer's market, but holy smokes, you guys. This is an amazing juice. Try it out. If you like it, let me know. Hope this was informative. Hope this was informational. Daily juicing habit changed my life. It could change your life. If you're looking for a juicer, this one is the Nama J2. There's a link to it in my bio with a $55 discount code using the code Jeff10. Just click that link. If you guys have any questions, please reach out. I've helped so many people heal themselves, and most people overcomplicate it. It's really not that difficult. It is hard to do. The work is hard. I've gone through some of the worst, most tragic days of my life going through the detoxification and letting the chemicals come out. You don't always feel great. But once you start getting this stuff out of your body, the health issues just start to disappear. It's not like poof, they're gone overnight. It's a slow elimination of waste, and your body just starts to perform better once all these chemicals are not in you anymore, So take care, guys. I'm gonna go finish this juice. Thank you for joining. Peace out. We will see you next time.